Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Out of all the things that people are talking about today, off of what was going down on Monday Night Raw tonight, I knew that everybody was going to be pumped up about SummerSlam. Everybody was going to be excited about the return of Brock Lesnar, and a lot of talk I can see coming about what happened between Biggie Langston and Kofi Kingston and their tag match with Ryback and Curtis Axel. Basically, there was some miscommunication in the match, and in pretty fast fashion, Biggie Langston and Kofi Kingston took a fall, and they were the losers, basically. Ryback and Curtis Axel, they've been a team in the tag team division that sort of like they win a few matches before a pay-per-view if they need to be moving in the next direction of being those tag team contenders, but they never were able to take that big step in order to winning the championship. Once it was all said and done, Kofi Kingston and Biggie Langston had some beef between them. You can see in their eye there's some animosity about the loss of the match. It's kind of weird. This is one of the first matches I've seen them tag in, and all of a sudden now they've got heat because one match doesn't go their way. And then because of this, Xavier Woods came running down. He came running down with this white suit with a red undershirt, and he was wearing his glasses, and he said, "You cannot move ahead by shaking hands, kissing babies, singing and dancing like a puppet." And because of this, he says, we can't just sit here and wait for things to be given to us. We have to go out there and we have to take them. And because of this, Biggie Langston and Kofi Kingston took this like a breath of new, fresh air. You can see them nod and agree with what Xavier Woods was saying. And it seems that they're coming together, and a whole bunch of people are pulling together, already calling them the new Nation of Domination. Nation of Domination ran strong back in the day. Everybody remembers them coming out there. Boom, putting that out there. Farouk was the leader. You had guys in the Nation of Domination like Crush, and you had, of course, The Rock. You had D'Lo, Mark Henry. The Godfather was in there. If there was no Nation of Domination, I don't think The Rock would have ever grown to be the superstar that he was. To me, in this sort of corporate, WWE PG era, I think fans that are of my age and remember the Attitude Era are going to think that this could be a big deal with this group coming out. I doubt they're going to call themselves the Nation of Domination. I doubt they're going to go back to their African roots or anything like that. I think that it's just going to be, Kofi Kingston and Biggie Langston as some sort of a team. I don't know if that means they're moving to the tag team division. I have Main Event on my TV right now because I heard they wrestle a match in there, and I want to see if they're going to give anything away to seeing what they're doing from here. Honestly, in my mind, if this group does turn heel, right off the bat, my thoughts on Xavier Woods is if they're giving up on you as a wrestler this fast coming in an NXT, and you're going to be moving into some sort of a managerial role. I know that you could be doing things sort of like Bobby Heenan did back in the 80s, that you ran your mouth so bad that the wrestler that your guys are wrestling against in your faction want to beat you up so bad. You could do some gimmicks where you got 5 minutes in the ring with Xavier Woods, and it wouldn't be like just some guy off the street. This guy has a lot of wrestling knowledge in him. He's very skilled in the ring. Of course, he was in TNA. I think he was an X Division champion before he left, and then he came here. He was in NXT for years, and now he's just they came in. He had that sort of run with he had that sort of run with Brodus Clay. And, when that was all said and done, they really haven't had anything anywhere to put him. He was on pay-per-view a few months ago at Extreme Rules against Rusev in a 2-on-1 match with R-Truth where they didn't get any offense in right off the bat. They just got crushed. Rusev crush! Kofi Kingston, to me, honestly, I've heard, word of turning him heel for probably the last 2 years. He seems to be this baby face that, all the kiddies like to do, and they're boom, 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 and he always, gets the cool pyro, and he gets the good pop. Everybody knows that. I don't really like the Kofi Kingston spots in the Royal Rumble, and it seems to be, him, the Royal Rumble and the Money in the Bank. He always seems to be one of those guys that go in there with a lot of fanfare that people can't wait to see what the next big thing that Kofi's going to do. And he's never able to really capitalize on it. Honestly, I had high hopes all for Kofi Kingston, and I know that he's just doing what he's told, but at the Money in the Bank, when he had the chance to either, get in the ring and climb up the ladder and grab the briefcase and win it, or, jump off and attack Drew McIntyre and put him through a table. It just went south for me. Why you would want to injure yourself and injure another guy in the ring and take yourself out of the match, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's something that the people are going to be talking about tomorrow. But if you're not going to win the match, what's the point of you even being in there? Biggie Langston is a guy that I have real big hopes and real big dreams for. This guy easily to me is a guy that could be WWE or World Heavyweight Champion anytime that they want to get behind him. He's a very believable guy. He works very well in the ring. I think that he has a very good personality that can go out and do media relations and things like that. He's one of the funniest guys I think they have. But honestly, for me, it's sort of like the same thing. He sort of did the mysterious babyface turn where he came out to help CM Punk and he came out to help John Cena, and it seemed like for a little while when they were doing these 6-man tags, they were always giving these power spots to Biggie Langston, and it seemed like he was getting really over, and they put the Intercontinental Championship on him, and that seemed to have been the death of him. And it seems like I'm not saying he's going to main event WrestleMania next year, but it seems like he should be moving along a lot faster than that. To turn him back heel to where his first heel turn, not turn, but reveal, when he came out and he debuted, that never really made sense to me. We never really figured it out. Was he there because of AJ? Was he there because of Dolph? Was Dolph employing him as his bodyguard, like Shawn Michaels and Diesel? Was he banging AJ on the side? That's always where I thought they were going to be going with it, but then it never really happened. Were they just friends? It seems like there was some animosity between Biggie Langston and Dolph Ziggler at times, why they were carrying Biggie, who was doing the falls and the tag matches a lot and things like that. It just never really got to where they're going because he wasn't really the man of that team. I know that he had a run as a heel. Of course, when he threw down Caitlyn and revealed himself as Caitlyn's love interest. This run should be better. I mean, honestly, they could melt in the water. Xavier Woods can go out there and say something wrong on the microphone like Lana did, and then it'd be all over TMZ and Inside Edition, and it'd be all over before it even started. So I have high hopes for these guys. I don't know really where it's going. I found it very funny that when we wake up this morning, there's dirt sheets putting stories out there that the next guy to be put into this group is Mark Henry. I've also seen people saying that Titus O'Neil and R-Truth are going to get in there. Look, if this is going to be a deal like the Nation of Domination, you don't have to put every black wrestler that's on the roster in there. I can go back and you think of at the time the Nation of Domination were at its strongest. Ahmed Johnson was one of the biggest baby faces in the company. He did turn heel for 1 week or 2 weeks, and then without any real explanation, he left the Nation of Domination. And I've heard through shoot interviews and things like that basically Vince would watch Raw, and he said that the people at home more than likely were too scared of this group walking towards the ring, knowing that there wasn't any believable force in the WWE they could put together to beat this group of people coming down to the ring. But I don't know. I do have high hopes for these guys, but I'm gonna have to see more before we get there. If you put Mark Henry in there, I think that's some real muscle in there, but they need to be focusing in on Kofi Kingston and Biggie Langston. They need to be the two biggest stars of this stable. They don't need to be the aftermath. Kofi's been there for a long time. He needs to really be taken seriously. Of course, we all know that Randy Orton, killed his push for the most part when he was working his way up back in the day. He did the one stupid thing, and then all of a sudden Randy's calling him stupid, and Kofi's never really ever got out of the mid-card again, except for every once in a while they'll give him a spot in the Elimination Chamber, or they give him a spot in Money in the Bank and they have to make him look like a big deal for a month. But, Biggie Langston, I really do believe is the future. I think he's going to be there sooner than later. Those are the guys that I'm really looking forward to. You put R-Truth, you put Titus O'Neil, even if you put Mark Henry in there, just let them be the backups, let them be the guys taking the falls in the matches if you guys want these guys to lose. But, I don't know. I'm looking for big things out of those guys. I feel bad for Xavier Woods that maybe, he is going to be the mouthpiece, but maybe he is going to be the guy who really does wrestle for him as well. It's still undetermined. But I would just hate to see a guy with that much promise just really get stuck in a role that he doesn't get to wrestle anymore.